Welcome to Updoot Tales, Choosing Beggars, where not showing any kind of appreciation won't get you anywhere or anything in life. Our first story is by Mnemosine21. Some background information. I work in mental health. Now, when you're first starting out in this field, grad students and newbies typically gain experience working in social services. This happened 3 years ago to my former coworker back when we were both graduate students and interns at a hospital in the Midwest. At the time, she was also working for Child Protective Services. My coworker told me about this client she had at one point. He had his children taken away from him by the state for an undisclosed reason, and his case was assigned to her. Based on what my coworker told me about what he was like, I can only describe him as being a typical conservative, big government-hating Kyle, as well as a choosing beggar and an entitled parent. You'll see why. Anyway, Kyle here hated having to put up with CPS in order to get his kids back because social services is a part of a big government's ploy to force everyone to be dependent on the welfare state, or something like that. So, naturally, Kyle takes out his frustration by being rude and condescending to my coworker, the same— oh my god, I can't believe this is about to happen— the same person who helped him get his kids back in the end. For example, he would belittle her by asking her questions such as, "So, who pays you? Who pays for all this and all these programs?" Implying it's his hard-earned taxpayer money that big government is stealing from people like him. So, fast forward a few months later when he has his kids back, my coworker called her current and former clients in order to invite them to the annual holiday party and the toy drive that her CPS office organizes. She called Kyle in order to invite him and his family, and his response was, "Well, my kids want an Xbox, so unless you get one for them, I don't think we'll go." Not as crazy as many of the stories in this thread, but it's certainly one that stuck with me. OP, you should really let your coworker know that next time that this client wants to get his kids back, she should remind him why she should help him. Because of the way that he treated her, he doesn't deserve her help to get his kids back in the future. Our next story is by JWit47. My choosing beggar story happened before the stay-at-home order in my state officially began, but then it was pretty clear that it was inevitable. I headed to the grocery store to stock up on food. On the way, I stopped by the drive-thru at Taco Bell. I made my usual order, but I was feeling hungry, and in my mind I didn't know when the next time I'd have Taco Bell would be, so I added an additional steak quesadilla to my order. When I got to the grocery store, I sat in the lot eating my food. An older gentleman, who was clearly homeless, staggered up to my car and tapped on my window. I rolled my window down and he asked me, "Please, can you get me some food?" I don't usually give money to panhandlers, but I felt especially cruel sitting there eating in front of him while he was hungry. In my mind, I thought my extra quesadilla must have been a sign. I reached over to the passenger seat and went to hand it to him. He pushed it away, saying, "No, no, 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 no. Can you drive me to the McDonald's?" I was taken aback, and it took me a few seconds to respond, sorry, I don't think so." He swore and then walked away. I sat there in shock for a solid few seconds, trying to process how all of that had went down. Picky eater, I guess? Look, OP, it's a good thing you didn't pick him up and take him to McDonald's, 'cause God only knows what he would have tried to do to you, whether try to cause you harm, cause harm to your car, or anything. I know I myself don't drive, but I would certainly not let a stranger in my car, no matter what the circumstances are. Our next story is by redditsavedmyagain. So, Unlike other stories that I typically read, this one actually has a decent ending, so I thought, for once I would share a wholesome story with you guys. Alright, so let's get on with it. So, we fly over from Beijing. I'm taking around a delegation of Chinese diplomats. They keep hearing about Mexican food and they want to try it. They did not like it, and they ordered way too much food. Cool. More for me, but we still end up with 3 untouched pristine burritos, and they were big. Personally, I wouldn't mind if we had 3 extra burritos. I love burritos. Alright, back to the story. Okay, pack 'em up, give to a beggar. I offered them to 15 beggars. Yeah, I started counting. And they either ignore me, just said no, or looked at me like I was offering them a dead cat. Unbelievable! I'm about to throw them away, find this one guy, his clothes are cleanish, but practically falling apart. I tell him what I told each previous beggar. Hey, I've got 3 burritos in this bag, totally untouched, not half-eaten or anything. They're big, they're good, these guys just didn't like Mexican food, they're all yours if you want them. Guy's face lights up so much. Oh my god, holy crap, really? Wow, this bag is heavy. Like, dang, this food for a week. Thank you so much, man. Gave him an extra 20 bucks and headed off. So glad I didn't throw those burritos away. OP, I'm really proud that you did that and didn't just waste the food. Like, it's nice that you found somebody who really appreciates your generosity. Like, those 15 other beggars that you gave them to, they did not deserve to get that food if they weren't going to appreciate your generosity. So, good on you for doing the right thing. That was Updoot Tales Choosing Beggars, and if you liked this video, make sure you hit that like icon so that way that tells YouTube that you really want to see more of my content. Also, if you want to subscribe, you can click my profile picture in the center, or you can click the box to the right to see my latest video.